We're live.
We live?
We live.
I don't feel alive.
I feel tired.
I do not
I'm
feel
really
alive.
tired.
Let me get my phone in.
Very tired.
Where I can see the chat.
Well, and I got to pull up comments for topics because we got some topics
Okay.
put into some questions.
Do we?
Mm-hmm. So let me pull that up. How are y'all doing tonight, guys? So it is 80-something degrees.
Yep, 87 degrees at 6 o'clock.
It should not be 80-something degrees.
Everybody probably getting on.
Yeah.
Everybody's probably outside enjoying the weather.
I know I was.
Yeah. We may have to back Chad up an hour.
I know, right? It give me time to get home and get settled at least.
We can back it up to 7.
We'll see.
We'll see. Well, I asked everybody's going to say, we get tired of y'all moving up.
I know, right? And Callie has already graced us with her presence.
Yeah, Misty's over there staring, getting ready to come this way.
How do I find what? Okay, manage. Where do I find the comments? Okay.
You go to the video from last week on the live.
And no, it was actually on my post from yesterday.
Okay.
So, all right. So, to start tonight's video, somebody's talked about, they put us a comment, Spencer, hey, you're not on yet, but when you catch this, of course, you're going to be the first person that we're talking about. Ideas on homemade greenhouses and compost bins, exactly what is needed to start raising chickens, any crops that help draw in nutrients to your land for long-term gardening, and is it good to have both fruits and vegetables growing, and are there some that shouldn't be planted at the same time? Also, the cross-pollination thing is confusing. So the cross-pollination thing, let's go ahead and answer that. If you want to save seed and it be the same variety, don't plant multiple varieties. We'll just go ahead and simplify it. Especially corn. Corn is wind pollinated, and it will pollinate another variety of corn a mile away. Okay? It's like the cross-pollination thing. Let's talk about dog breeds. You have one breed. If you want it to be pure, you don't mix it with another breed. It's that simple. And when they go in, and when the dog goes in heat, it's in heat for miles. So don't have a female that's not fixed, and you won't have to worry about cross-pollination. Is that a good analogy?
Oh boy, I don't know. I think I'd went another direction. But
what route would you have went, Mark?
Well, I don't know. Oh man, this show gets comical sometimes.
It does, don't it?
Because we either talking about chitlins or poop, or now we're talking about reproductive.
We didn't talk about no chitlins yet. Why are you bringing them up already?
Oh,
so yeah, but cross-pollination, seriously. If you want to keep your seed true to whatever you're growing, don't plant multiple varieties. It's that simple. I mean, squash and zucchini will cross-pollinate. Sweet peppers and hot peppers will cross-pollinate. 15 varieties of tomatoes will cross-pollinate. Let's see. Pumpkins or gourds.
They're in the gourd family, yeah.
They're in the
cucurbita.
Cucurbita, aren't they?
They're in the, I think squash and gourds, pumpkins all in the same family.
I think they are, but not the watermelons and cantaloupes.
No, they're fruit.
Well, so is squash and all that too.
I thought they were a vegetable.
Anything, the scientific definition of fruit is anything that has a seed on the inside.
Oh, okay. Okay. Huh.
Yep.
So that's just about everything.
Just about. It's the fruit of the plant.
Well, that's true. Mm-hmm. Well, that says that in the Bible too, don't it?
Yep. So, that's how that goes. Berries, their seeds are on the outside.
Stop a minute and tell everybody hello.
I did.
Oh, did you? I didn't hear you.
I didn't actually. I told everybody hello before they got on. So far we have Mark on, Spencer on, Mr. Kirkpatrick. He's the one that was messaging to see what time we were going to start. So hey y'all. Hey Miss Janelle.
I thought I seen that something pop up on my phone that had his name.
Cedar Creek Bottoms.
I went to looking for it and I couldn't find it again.
Yeah, because I answered it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he sent it on as a message on Cedar Creek Bottoms Facebook page.
If you'd like to send us friend request, you're more than welcome.
Absolutely. We don't mind
Mr.
friend
Mark
requests.
D, you too, if you'd like to, if you're on Facebook.
Let's see. Janelle. Hey, Janelle. Hey, Misty.
If I know your real names, I'm not going to tell everybody. I keep stuff confidential.
I think I got down to the I've said hello to everybody now.
I do have
squash. Chitlins come into the conversation. Yeah. Okay.
I do have everybody's seed ready to put in a package and head your way. So I know Misty, Spencer, and then my cousin.
And I have some to send out
too.
Because Diane wanted some of the okra, and I've got it in a package. I just got to get it mailed.
So hopefully tomorrow I can get all this packaged.
Mm-hmm. And I got a bracelet to send out.
I know it's still a little early to plant in most places, but I like for you to go ahead and get your seed.
Oh yeah.
And that way it might. Yeah.
They might be ones that like to start it inside.
I've been trying to get hold of since we lost the sorghum wherever it decided to walk off to. I tried to call today and couldn't nobody answer the phone. So.
You don't think it got into my jewelry stuff, do you? Because did I have my jewelry stuff out that day? I don't remember. I may need to go look at the jewelry.
You are lately, ain't no telling.
There is no telling.
Surprised I ain't lost a truck.
So let's go ahead and start with some of the other topics that were mentioned in that comment. Yeah, I know. Sister has now graced us with her presence as well.
All right.
The only one missing is Misty now.
Don't say nothing. She's already looking this way.
No, she's not. She's looking at the door.
Well, she was staring.
Yeah. She'll be up here in a minute. So compost bins. So what I like as a compost system, I like a 2 or 3 bin system. Me personally, I like a 3 bin system. I built mine out of pallets. Yeah, pallets. You could do it out of concrete blocks. Anything that you wanted, you don't even have to have dividers if you don't want dividers. I wanted dividers.
Hey, everybody.
One pile, you're building in that pile, okay? So we'll call that bin 1. When bin 1 is full, you shovel it into bin 2. And you start building bin 1 again, okay? While bin 1 is filling, you're flipping bin 2 into 3, and then back to 2, and then back to 3. Therefore, you're doing the composting of that one, and that whole pile gets composted at one time versus you continuously adding into what you're composting and then having to sift out what doesn't compost what.
I just wonder if they get swimmy headed like I am.
Could be one of them days, isn't it?
It is.
I can see that now.
Gotta have a little fun. It can't be serious all the time. It's better to smile than frown, right?
Okay,
but I wish you quit pointing fingers though.
Have I lost weight? Wish I had lost weight.
She probably has a little bit.
I probably have. I've worked weight off versus losing any. I think I haven't. I have not stepped on a scale, but these are my nemesis. Just saying.
That's her pacifier. Like I got.
Yeah, he's got dip. I have gummies. It is.
That's what my daddy called them, pacifier.
It's almost become a pacifier, an addiction. I mean, it's getting to that level. I keep saying I'm going to stop the gummies and I'm going to start eating healthy again, and I keep having to go to work. If I don't go to work, I might not need gummies no more, babe.
You have to get to work, yeah.
Okay. So let's see. Put it in a 55-gallon barrel, roll it a few times. Yes, that's another way of doing it. So if you have 2 55-gallon barrels, you can be working on one, rolling it, composting it while you build the other before you flip it and turn it.
Yes,
the thing about
we lost the sorghum.
Yeah, we did. We lost the sorghum. We have no clue where it went. It just disappeared.
And I've been trying to get some back, and I can't get a hold of nobody.
I need to sage the house. I think that's where I'm at. I think I got to sage the house because We got stuff.
No, I think our brains need to be reset.
We got stuff just disappearing left and right. I think our brains do need to reset.
I don't think no critters getting it. I think it's our brains not working correctly no more.
Misty's back. Her internet's going bad. So yeah.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
By the way, something to think about real quick, because we'll forget about it. I know it's getting longer daylight. People like to stay outside longer. And I know y'all go, oh God, here they go again. They're going to change something. What if we roll back an hour? Would that suit everybody a little better? Because I know we're getting in longer daylight hours. It might help Rebecca getting off because she don't get off to 5:30 going on 6. So she has to run in here like a chicken with her head cut off. And what do y'all think about that? I mean,
I just come in running, guys, because I don't get off till 5:30, and I think they're going to shift it back to 6:32. So you may have to start lives without me if we keep it at 6.
I thought about just going back to 7. Since
I think that may be what we have to do.
Because I want us to start sitting outside doing some of it too.
Yes.
And that way we can maybe.
But you can't stay as long. What did I miss with John? The lazy way. Oh, if we move it back, we can't stay as long? Is that maybe what he's saying?
I don't know.
I'm not sure. Anyway, completely understand. Need time to relax a minute after work. Yeah, I come in running, guys. That's what I did today. I came in running 2 wheels. So there's lots of ways to do compost.
John, I don't work every Friday night. Just every now and then.
Fridays, that's one of the reasons we like the live on Fridays, because he doesn't have to work Fridays usually. Just every now and then. So Fridays we get to keep it going as long as we want, as long as it's not a mandatory Saturday work day. Compost, like I said, I like a 2-bin or a 3-bin because I don't want to have to sift out what's not composted. And the technical way to compost is everything's supposed to be heated up to a certain temperature for a certain time period, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And if you're still adding, then your time period that everything's supposed to be heated up to has to keep changing. So the typical 2-bin or 3-bin system is the better method, whether that bin is a barrel you're rolling on the ground or a bin that you're shoveling back and forth to. If you're putting everything in one compost bin and continuously adding while composting, then you're never going to have a finished compost technically.
True.
You still looking at my hands moving, aren't you?
Oh yeah, I'm sorry.
It's going to be a night. It's going to be a night, guys. This might be the night. Just
when I reach over and grab that finger.
Or when I go, pop. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
You're right. I'm not.
Think about
hey, working Saturdays. Only had 2 Saturdays off this year. Ooh, that's bad.
Who is this?
I love Mark D. I love daylight savings time. Also, time to fish. I like to fish. I miss fishing.
We got to get back into fishing more.
I miss fishing.
Especially crappie fishing at night on the river.
So let's go back to the rest of these topics in his email or his message.
Hey, Greg, how you doing, man?
Ideas on homemade greenhouses. So I know a lot of people have seen our chicken house. Our chicken house is a cattle panel and an arch. Netting put over it to keep predators out if need be. A tarp over the back. Ours is 5 long. That's my chicken coop.
Then take some deer netting.
Yeah, that's what I said. Put deer netting on it for predators. Now, if you've got real predators, then you might want to put chicken wire versus deer netting because deer netting's plastic.
Well, you probably could do chicken wire at the bottom and still do net halfway up or something.
But we're talking about a greenhouse. So that same style could be covered in plastic.
Right, that's true.
Yeah, look those up. There's plans all over the internet for that style of greenhouse where you take the cattle panel and arch it into a wooden frame that you've basically built with a wooden doorway and stuff like that. Yeah, don't pull that finger, Mark. That's what Spencer said. So yeah, that's one idea for a beginner greenhouse. Now, here's the thing. When we're talking about greenhouses, are we talking about just for winter? Because here in the South, that's all the greenhouse is for. It's for winter. Now, if we're going to talk about high tunnels that you're going to grow in for pest control and stuff like that, that's a whole nother ball game. And there is not really any homemade methods for high tunnels. We're going to try and make one out of cattle panels. The thing about the high tunnels is they've got to be so high in the middle.
Right, to let some of the heat go up.
Yeah, because in the South,
good air draw too.
Here in the South, your greenhouse is done in March.
March, April.
Yeah, March, early April. There, we can't have nothing in the greenhouse. My little greenhouse here after March or April, because it will burn up. It gets so hot in there, guys. We have a greenhouse at work at Tractor Supply. I probably should have said that, but y'all know where I work. They have a greenhouse on our store, and it has built-in roof vents that currently are broken. The motors are bad, so they got new ones on order. But it is so hot in there on any day that is sunny. I mean, and it's got roll-up sides and fans. So here in the South, a greenhouse is not very useful for long periods of the year because it gets so hot. So a homemade greenhouse is hard to do unless you're just using it for like seed starting or overwintering crops. I bought my little greenhouse, which is a 7 by 14, maybe 7 foot wide by 14 long. Might just be 13. I can't remember. I got it at bestchoiceproducts.com. And at the time, it was only like $120, I think. So I can't build one for $120 because I don't have material just laying around. So I think the plastic costs about that much for a good greenhouse.
If I was going to start off with a greenhouse, I think I'd start off with a small one to see if you're really going to like that method.
Yeah. And
then if you like that method, then you can expand.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to get stuck with something big that you're going like, well, this is just too much for me.
And they all depend on where you're at.
But I want to say one thing. What's happening with our weather? What's happening with our soil?
The greenhouse is good.
What's going on? Because I think the land's trying to get ruined. If y'all get my drift with different things, greenhouse might be a good
and
investment.
not a greenhouse, but a high tunnel.
High tunnels.
Yeah, high tunnels.
There's some people already. Let me say this, and I'll shut up because I know you on the road. There's some people experimenting, especially deep south, and there's a few other ones that are experimenting with the greenhouses, growing crops year round in them. They have noticed that their crops in the greenhouse are doing better. Now, one thing is because they're not full of pests, so they're able to keep pests down. They're able to water more efficiently. And then number 3 is they're watching their soil they get. And that's a big thing I was going to bring up because Spencer asked me about something the other day. Compost from any company.
Oh, yeah.
One of the first things you need to ask is manure in it. And if manure is in it, did them cows or them hogs or them chickens or whatever,
were they fed Grazon?
Was they fed hay with Grazon in it? If they did, that compost ain't no good.
Nope. And how do you know if your compost is good? Plant a bean in it.
Yeah, get you a pot, set it off side, put your bean, watch that thing. And if
it'll start growing and then it'll die.
Just like, you know how you spray something with Roundup. A couple of days later, you come by and it's done wilted and starting to, fall over.
Yeah.
It's sad that we're in that.
A lot of people don't know that the hay they fed is Grazon.
If you're buying hay from
you need to ask
from a hay producer for your goats or
they're
whatever,
supposed to tell.
And you need to ask them, do you spray your hay? And all Grazon is like a Roundup for grass. It's a broadleaf killer.
Yep.
So people spray it on hay fields where they have it pretty. And it mainly goes toward the horse people.
Yes.
Because they want that. They don't want weeds and stuff in there.
But some of your cattle farmers do it too.
Oh, yeah.
Kim always did. Remember?
So that manure is no good.
Grazon does not, a lot of things break down when the animal eats it. This one does not. It goes straight out through the animal system into the poop. Even composted, it is still very much a factor after composted. If you read the bottle for Grazon, the warning is on the bottle that you cannot use the composted manure from any animal fed hay that's been treated with it.
That's why you need to cut your own hay if you can.
Mm-hmm.
Or buy from your buddy and don't use no Grazon.
If you can buy somebody's mixed grass hay,
you're probably safe.
You're safe. If you're buying strictly alfalfa, strictly Timothy, strictly Bahia, well, Bahia, I think
they spray in Bahia.
They spray in Bahia too. Wow. If you're buying strictly one type of grass hay, then you're probably getting a Grazon field. That's the nature of that beast. You can't have anything growing in there except for that one thing. If you've got weeds growing in there, guess what? That is not.
Greenhouses work.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry.
I guess I need to read some of these comments. Hey, the windows and the wood frame, that makes a great greenhouse too. When
what they call it, cold frames.
I know they built a greenhouse that way.
Yeah, I know, but
you can build a cold frame that way too. Yeah. Football field. Wow, that was 40 by 300. That's a greenhouse. Yeah. The greenhouse can make it 3 months longer because you're starting your plants earlier. That's where it makes it longer. When they say it makes it 3 months longer, it's because you get to start your seeds and everything in the greenhouse. Go ahead and pot them up into bigger pots and then move them on out of the greenhouse. Yeah. Or you've got a high tunnel that you're planting in the ground earlier in the season and protecting it from frost and everything. Let me go back to that thought that I was trying to say a while ago. Depending on where you are, the structure of your greenhouse matters. If you have snow load, you've got to make sure your roof capacity can handle it.
Right. Or build it where that snow slides off of it.
Mm-hmm.
My boss has a greenhouse, and of course he's got plants, set out for for spring. But also he grew tomatoes and peppers all winter, mm-hmm. and ate off of them. Of course, he said they wasn't as good as the ones that you get in the summer. Because if y'all know, a lot of the ones you buy in supermarkets in the winter are greenhouse tomatoes. That's why they're so pale looking and don't have much flavor. Huh?
And they're picked green.
Picked green, yeah. So, but yeah, it would give you more time. You could, start your plants earlier. And that way, when the ground gets warm enough, you could come right out and get them in the ground and everything.
All right, Spencer, what did we clear up? So, if you're planting in pots in your greenhouse, then you can pull it out of the greenhouse when it gets hot. Start seeds inside in January or December. You'll have to heat your greenhouse in order to do that, though. But yeah, in the midst of summer, depending on your greenhouse, if it's not vented and aerated and all that good stuff, then you don't want to be in there.
Yeah, Janelle, we'll when y'all come to do some canning, we'll go fishing.
Absolutely.
Anybody else wants to come we'll can and fish at night or something.
All right, next.
Or go booger hunting, whatever y'all want to do.
We're going to stay on the gardening.
Okay.
Before I get into chickens.
Yes, ma'am.
Before I get into chickens.
Yes, ma'am.
Because if y'all ask for windows on Craigslist and Facebook, there are a lot of contractors. Oh, will you, Mr. Spencer?
He said, well, he's in Virginia, baby. I ain't driving all the way to Virginia to get windows.
No delivery? Okay. Yes. So there are some people that you can get windows from. Cool. We can find them on Facebook Marketplace and, like you said, Craigslist a lot to build a greenhouse from.
Would be nice to find a lot of them old aluminum.
Wouldn't it though?
A lot easier to deal with than wooden windows.
Yeah, the wooden ones are what you're gonna find a lot of though.
I know.
So next question, we're gonna stay in the greenhouse, the gardening zone. Any crops that help draw in nutrients to your land for long-term garden planting. Go ahead, Mark.
Oh, let's see.
What's your number one?
Cowpeas.
Field peas of any sort.
They'll about grow anywhere.
They'll grow anywhere, and they're nitrogen
Fixers.
Yep.
They're not hard to grow. As long as that ground is 65 degrees or hotter, they will sprout. They're sort of drought tolerant. There's not too much disease that gets on them too bad. Mildew will get on them some, and also the aphids will jump on them. Wasps like to sting the pods, but they're very edible too. They're very good eating. Southerners survived off of them after the Civil War for a while. Your chicken's going crazy.
That's what I was just thinking.
I would go with peas because they're reasonable. They don't cost that much. They pretty much come up on their own as long as they got moisture.
And they're good to eat.
Good to eat. Deer love them.
Deer love them.
It's a good overall crop.
The thing about gardening for long term is it's not just one season you've got to plant in. You've got to remember to plant cover crops the rest of the year too.
Which a lot of those are nitrogen fixers. But beans is nitrogen fixers. Let's see. Clovers, vetch, grain sorghum.
Spencer.
Grain sorghum. Grain sorghum is one that gets, about 3 foot tall. And also you can save that and feed your chickens in the winter. Cut the heads off, throw them in a drum. Don't let them mildew though. Or let it feed quail and turkeys and
what am I cutting the heads off of?
the grain sorghum.
Oh, I don't know why. I thought you were saying cut the tits. Never mind.
I'm caught up now.
I'm caught up now.
I'm just trying to think out loud all the stuff. And of course, there's other crops that will help your soil. I mean, wheat, oats, because that just makes organic matter.
Mm-hmm. You can use the oats to actually use and then plow under the rest of it.
Turnip greens and all them is good to sow for winter time, and you can chew that up to become organic material in your garden.
Spencer gonna bring me windows.
Oh, is it? Okay. Oh boy.
I'll make him pay for them.
I'm sorry, Misty's having trouble.
Yeah, I told Spencer behave.
Yes, sir. Mr. John Brown Top Millet.
Oh, is that what that is? I was wondering what brown top was.
Actually, millet and sorghum, all them kind of the same thing.
Kind of.
Yeah, they kind of all in the same family. A lot of people grow it, for cattle feed, for silage too, because it does have some sugar content to it. Back when there used to be a lot of dairies around. I mean, this part of the country, all the dairies about to shut down.
For doves, yeah. Another plant that is gaining a lot of popularity now. I don't know if it's just because of permapastures or other places, is comfrey. Comfrey is very good. It is, I think it actually is a nitrogen fixer too, but what it also does is it soaks up all the nutrients into the leaves, and then you can turn that into a compost tea, or cut them up and just lay it back down on the ground to
also
release the nutrients. Feed it to the chickens, feed it to your rabbits, feed it to everything. It also has some medicinal qualities, but there's some controversy about the medicinal qualities of comfrey due to carcinogenics and stuff like that. So we're not going to go into that.
About all plants.
Yeah, so I'm not going to get into that one today. Y'all do your research.
I wonder a lot of times that's propaganda.
Well, and that's how sassafras is. They're pulling all the sassafras for some of the similar reasons. So, yeah.
Before you know it, everything will be bad for us.
Mm-hmm. Because you remember when I got all that sassafras off the club?
What you need right now with the Roundup ready.
Yeah. You remember when I got all that sassafras off the club and then threw it away because I read it was carcinogenic? Yeah. So, and then I read that it wasn't, that it was propaganda, and I was like, darn.
Yeah.
Feed your compost some chicken manure, absolutely. Breaks it down faster. Chicken manure is a hot manure, so you definitely don't want to use that on your field straight, unless you're not planning to plant in it anytime soon. So mix it with your compost while it's breaking down. It'll break down the manure at the same time, and it'll go fast.
You got a ball spot in your yard, just throw it in it. You'll have some of the prettiest Bermuda grass.
I don't know why that is, but chicken manure sprouts up some pretty Bermuda. We use rabbit compost a lot, or rabbit poop a lot, and I don't compost that. It's a cold compost. I plant straight in it. The downside, rabbit poop holds moisture very, very good. It is awesome for tomatoes and stuff like that. The downside is, like I said, it holds moisture. So rot for like potatoes and stuff.
Yeah.
Wow, that was a big squash plant. He had squash plants he could walk in.
Wow.
So that is number one, is plant peas for nitrogen fixing. Plant any of the beans and legumes, clovers, stuff like that. Don't forget your cover crops through the winter and plow them under later. Adds organic matter in to break down. You can always scatter the compost and stuff over your garden, or the poops of your animals, whatever animal it is.
And let me just stress one thing. Most of us here on the chat live in the southeast. Lime, and lime.
And more lime. I don't think you can put too much lime, but it will not break down immediately. So don't expect instant results.
Yeah. Most time you get back soil results from, they'll tell you, well, you need about 5 tons per acre. You'll be like, Lord have mercy. And that's just to get you for 3 years.
Yeah, just to get you started. All right, next topic. Is it good to have both fruits and vegetables growing? Absolutely. Does your diet need just fruit or just vegetables? It needs both. So if you can produce both, do both. There is no harm in producing fruits and vegetables at the same time.
I mean, in fact, I'd have everything. I mean, that's our long-term goal here, is to have a small orchard, have the gardens going, and even foraging some, and start harvesting more deer, more wild game, and plus have our own hogs and own beef, chickens. That's our long term, and plus stock my ponds back with some cats and some bluegill. And I want to say one thing, because this got brought up the other day.
Okay, hold on. If you have sage-grass at all, you need lime. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's a number one sign.
If you don't know what broom sage is, Google it. So,
I think most people.
And do I add calcium to tomatoes? You can.
Yes.
In
fact,
as I say, isn't your lime a calcium-based product?
It is a calcium base, but not all limes. Like the marble dust here from Sylacauga is 99.9% calcium. But now you have dolomite, limestone, you have 4 or 5 that's got more magnesium in it, or more phosphorus in it. So,
but do I add calcium? Y'all, I stick my tomatoes in the ground with some rabbit poop, wing and a prayer, and we're good.
Your fertilizer numbers, some of that's calcium.
NPK. That was not calcium.
Huh?
NPK.
NPK.
What's the K? Nitrogen, phosphorus, and
nitrogen.
What's the K?
I don't know.
I forgot.
But there's so much calcium already in it. I can't remember how much they put in it. You'd have to look at it.
I forgot what NPK stands for. How can I forget that? NPK. I know it's phosphorus, nitrogen, and potassium. That's it.
Potassium.
And 2 people done answered me on it. Can't believe I forgot that, y'all. That's the brain issues we're talking about. I went to school for gardening. How do you forget? Well, not for gardening. I went for environmental horticulture, so I got the whole 9 yards, nursery propagation, greenhouse management, all that good stuff. How do you forget what NPK stands for?
It's just because you're not using it like you would on a regular basis.
I have used it every day this week.
I don't know what to tell you then.
It just went pshoom.
That wheel's turning backwards.
It is. It's turning backwards. So
Oh.
yeah. I don't add calcium to mine. I don't add Epsom salts. I don't add any of that stuff. We just add compost and rabbit poop and, like I said, a wing and a prayer and keep the bugs picked off. Triple 13 when I plant it. I might water it with some Miracle Grow if they're lucky when I'm first starting them, just to get them established.
Even your talking about calcium, even your ponds need some
Uh-huh.
lime every now and then.
So, and we do lime everything here, especially.
In fact, we'll have to do it again this year.
Yeah.
I'll have to get the spreader truck to come.
When we go through planting
big
my
stuff.
little gardens,
We'll do that. With
I do
the
a
pellets.
drop of triple 10 or triple 13 and a drop of lime as I go through each plant. Each hole
We
gets
really
it.
need to put the lime in the fall where
Yeah, I
it's ready
know.
for spring.
I know, but we didn't. And for some reason, we don't ever seem to get it done. So I always put it in as I
Well, one
plant.
time I did get some.
Yeah, that one time we did. That one time was good. That one time we were on it.
Yeah, we ain't done too good lately.
Do we soda your corn, Mark?
Yeah, I do put nitrogen to it sometimes.
What is
Then there's-
soda?
That's just the old way of calling nitrogen.
Oh.
They used to talk about side dress, watermelon.
Well, I mean,
side
I
dress,
figured
your
that's
corn.
what he was talking about, side dressing.
Talking about nitrogen.
But he said soda.
Well, that's what they used to call it. That's kind of an old term for it.
Didn't know that. Interesting.
Now there is like sodium of nitrate. There's sodium of potassium. There are some different names, but
That's what he's saying. Yep, old school side dressing.
But see, I grew up with the old men. You have to remember, my
I did
uncle was born
too, but-
1911. I'm hanging out with him in the.
I mean, I had
in
my
the
granny
70s and
who was
80s.
born in 1910.
Daddy born 1926. So,
My daddy was 1938.
oh,
But I didn't
Well,
have. We didn't hang out with all the family. That was my.
I bet
problem.
he's heard some of the terms my
Probably.
daddy used to use, like "where are the horns off a billy goat,"
Probably.
because you can.
Let's see. He uses
Yeah,
eggshells.
catch it.
I caught it. I'm choosing to be nice because I don't want to sink to Spencer and Misty's level.
Huh? They've been good tonight. What are you talking about?
Oh no, Spencer done told Misty at one point all the different things needed to kick her off.
I didn't see that. That must have been way on back.
It was 1925 for his dad. Hello, fellow Americans. What the heck? Okay, we're gonna leave that one retracted.
Huh?
We might have just got our first spammer on there.
Oh,
But it took it out. So I'll have to go check out what it is. Janelle, I think it's Janelle, said she uses her. Now I've lost it. No, Mr. Kilpatrick uses his eggshells. That's what it was. I throw mine in compost, feed it back to the chickens. Most of the time it's in compost though. So that way it's broke down and ready in the compost. You didn't see that, Misty? I thought you did because you
What?
got on to Spencer too.
what's that? Did I missed something.
He said, it's hard. It's hard to just call you John. My
It's
granny
gonna
would
be
whoop me.
It's gonna be interesting. Well, never mind. It's gonna be interesting one day.
There you go. No, don't call me late for supper. I agree on that one. I am missing it
internet's still
all.
messing
Yeah,
up.
Misty's missing it all.
Well, Spencer disappeared on us.
Yeah, he did, didn't he?
Yeah, he's around here. He'll sneak back.
He'll
in.
sneak back in. Apparently
Janelle's
we're
kinda quiet.
dropping one and the other, Wonder who's got a live tonight. Is that
I
where they
didn't
done
see
went?
nothing pop up nowhere, but now I ain't gonna say it didn't. I've been.
Oh my goodness.
That's why I
So
tried to pick Friday nights because I didn't see much happening on Friday night.
let's talk about those fruits and vegetables. let's get back on topic. Come on, everybody.
I'm just
All right. So fruits and vegetables. We plant watermelons and cantaloupes when we plant our gardens. We already have, y'all, I can't sit still. I'm sorry. We already have blackberries and blueberries and strawberries already planted. Those are things that are producing every year. What other fruits are there that can be planted? That's really kind of it, isn't it? Other than trees and stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, strawberries.
I said strawberries, blackberries, and blueberries,
Yeah.
cantaloupes, watermelons. Okay, so those are some that are easy to plant, and they come back most of those come back every year. Watermelon, cantaloupe, you have to replant. But they produce like first year or second year. Watermelons produce the year they're planted, they're an annual. Strawberries produce first year, typically, depending on when you got them in the ground. Blackberries will usually typically produce the next year. Blueberries will typically produce the next year. Again, depending on the size of the plant you got to start with. If you got a little bitty tiny plant, then that might be a couple years, but it's going to increase in production each year. Now, talk about that orchard. Your orchards are going to take longer to produce an edible fruit. They may bloom, but that first couple years, it's not going to produce a fruit. I can't remember what the years are that it takes for each type of tree to produce. We have had figs planted for 3 years now, brand new fig trees. One of them was a cutting, and the other two lived for a year in a pot, and they all got planted. Did they get planted last year or the year before? The year before. So they've been in the ground for 2 years now. And they produced a fruit or two last year. They didn't produce a whole lot, but they did produce a fruit or two. So they were one of the quicker producing trees. Let's see. Apples take a bit. I can't remember how many years apples take to produce.
5 years, isn't it? At least.
It's at least 5. Same for pears. I think pears is 5.
Yeah.
Again, depends on the size of the tree you plant to start with. So keep that in mind when you're starting your orchards and stuff. The earlier you start some of those longer producing trees, and by that I mean takes longer to produce trees, the earlier you start those, the better off you're going to be in the long run. But don't spend all your money on those longer to produce trees, because then you won't have production from them. Mix it up. Get some that produce now and some that produce later. Go ahead and get the strawberries in the ground now. Have them starting.
See where Misty says.
Yeah, I saw that. She can't get hers started right. I was going to go back to in a minute.
Yeah.
Get your strawberries in the ground now, so where they're starting, and they'll produce runners and they'll keep going. Every now and then you might have to, take them out, put in new ones. But in the long run, you should be able to keep them going. Blackberries, same thing. Go ahead and get them in the ground now, because in 2 years you'll have fruit. Blueberries, 2 years you'll have a little bit of fruit. Okay. Also keep in mind, when you buy those blueberries and stuff, the long-term picture. This year they produce fruit. It might be a handful. But if you have 11 blueberry bushes like we do, that's going to be several handfuls per bush in the future. It might be a gallon bucket per bush in the future. And that amount's going to grow as the bush grows. So keep in mind, your production may be small to start with, but as the bush matures, it will grow in production as well. So don't think, oh, I need 50 blueberry bushes because I'm only getting one handful per bush. That's just a start. Okay, so have a plan for what you're going to do with 50 blueberry bushes if you're going to plant 50 blueberry bushes. Me, that's going in the freezer for my smoothies. I love my smoothies and I miss my blueberries and I cannot wait till they're ripe. So yeah, plant some long to produce stuff along with your short to produce stuff. That way you have stuff at all times. That way when the stuff that's long to produce comes in, you've still been enjoying fruit. So
And some of the best places to plant your fruit is if you got hilly land, they like well drained soil.
Yep.
It takes them a little longer to get established, but that's why you used to be going down a lot of country roads and you noticed orchards up on the side of hills. One reason they're saving their better land for the crops like corn and cotton and all that in our part of the country. But it seems like some of your orchard type stuff does better on hillsides. I don't know why, but that's something I noticed a lot growing up. A lot of the orchards are on the side of hills.
she said bushcraft is on. Janelle did.
Bushcraft.
So that may be where Spencer went.
What's bushcraft?
Isn't that one of his shows?
Oh, maybe. I don't know.
Mr. John says you're going to work if you have that many blueberries. Yeah, it's work. It is. And huge fig tree. So in one of our videos, I think we published it for the homestead videos, I showed Mark's mom's fig tree. I don't think that bush would fit in our living room. Or a tree, rather. Right now, my other ones are still on the small side, but the cutting off of his mom's tree is tall. The other two are bushing. And then we bought another one last year and added to it. So we now have 4 here. The other one was an LSU purple. Oh, we have Celeste figs at work.
Yeah, that's good.
I need one. So yeah.
Hey, Flat Rock, how you doing?
Yeah,
man?
Flat Rock made it on. All right, let's talk about those strawberries, Misty. What is going on with your strawberries? Are you keeping the crown above the dirt level? That's where most people mess up, is they bury the crown too deep. If you got, a lot of people buy them as bare root plants and they think they're dead. They're not. They're just dormant. Go ahead and plant them. You can see the crown. Don't bury the crown. Just put the roots in there, and you should be fine. I don't think I've ever had any problems with strawberries, and they put out the runners and just multiply all over the place. So
I used to mulch mine a lot with pine straw.
I do with leaves.
Yeah, so. Also, this is kind of gonna be funny, but squirrels like them too, Misty. So, oh my. Anyway, rats.
Shame on you, Mark.
Well,
shame on you.
hey,
Mark.
I was nice about it.
Squirrels like strawberries. I'm sure Misty likes strawberries, and she would love to get them to grow.
Yeah.
Oh, and pots. Is it because they kept drying out and then getting wet? Yeah. They can't. That crown doesn't like to be wet all the time. I guess that's the way to put that.
If you got yard
Funguses.
If you have a little spot in the backyard
Put it in the
somewhere to
ground.
make you a bed, just a little raised bed with a wood frame, that's the best way.
I did mine with concrete blocks. Y'all seen mine in videos.
And you don't need a big spot. I mean, you could have something 6, 8 foot long by 3 foot, and you can get a lot of strawberries in that little neck of the.
Misty, it could be the soil, depending on what we talked about earlier with the
Have it tested.
the soil, the Grazon. That's what it was.
What you can do is you can get a sample, send it to your extension service,
Mhm.
which they'll probably, you see, she's in Tennessee, so I'll probably go to the University of Tennessee. I think it's $10.
Mm-hmm.
Tell them what you're trying to grow in that soil. Also, ask them to check it for stuff.
Grow a bean in it.
Grow a bean and see what it does.
If you can't grow a bean, you got a problem, because a bean will sprout in the bed of a truck without anything in it. Don't ask me how I know.
Oh,
All right, so it could be mold around the crown, all that stuff. It could be your soil. There could be a lot of reasons. message me later. We'll talk about strawberries. And if you need strawberries, I'll see if I can send you something. All right. Next question. Are there some that shouldn't be planted at the same time? I am not exactly sure what you meant there.
Who was that?
Spencer. I'm still reading his comments.
Dang, what did he do? Do a 5-page report?
Yes,
on that?
that's the basis of our. You didn't hear me say that at the start, that I'm gonna pull this off of the comment that was left on our video.
I'm glad he's
And yes,
asking questions.
Spencer, we're talking to you. That's what all that was about. So yeah, his comment was
I see
ideas
now,
on
Misty, how
homemade
you
greenhouses
just
and compost bins, exactly what is needed to start raising chickens, any crops that help draw in nutrients to your land for long-term gardening and planting. Is it good to have both fruits and vegetables growing? And are there some that shouldn't be planted at the same time? Also, the cross-pollination thing is confusing. You remember me reading that?
I remember you reading that, but I didn't know
That
all
is where all that came from. So
Man, we got
yeah,
a lot out of one little paragraph.
I know, right? Let's see, extra blocks. Extra blocks.
She said
Oh
she
yeah,
had
concrete
extra
blocks. Yeah, so that's what I made mine out of. I had somebody
And
give me
hey,
some concrete blocks.
Turn them up to the side where the hole's up,
And then you can plant
put
in
them
the
in them holes too.
I have a couple of chicory plants growing in the holes of my concrete blocks. They overwintered even, and they are green right now. They lived through 4 days of temperatures that did not come above freezing. I was shocked. In the holes of a concrete block. Let's see. Spence don't plant pumpkins and watermelon close. What? Why can't we plant pumpkins and watermelons close? Because they're not going to cross-pollinate. They're two different families.
I never have seen them do it. I can't say.
Does one hold the other back or something? Because we did. We planted them right next door
I've
to
done
each
it
other.
a bunch of times.
Mm-hmm. Spencer will man up one day, Mark, and try. Oh no, I won't do that. Sorry, I'm with
What?
Spencer.
Is there something you've seen before, Greg, on that?
Yeah, let me know
I mean,
about that one.
Yeah, it could be overcrowded because they do try to run.
Yeah, they both run. We planted them side by side in the field out there last year. Now, in our defense, the pumpkins didn't do as well last year, but it was because we planted them at the wrong time, and they came off in August. We did and had stringy watermelons. That's interesting. I don't know why you had stringy watermelons.
Well, let me ask you this, Greg. I know it may have been a long time when you done it. Watermelon tries to revert back to its original state after a while. And I know a lot of people look at me crazy when I say that, but over time, was the meat real whitey looking too? Was it real white looking in there and stringy with it? Because I never have heard of pumpkins and watermelons crossing. I mean, as I know of.
Well, we didn't have any problems with that this past year. When we planted them side by side, and they
I ain't saying he's wrong. He may be.
They were heirloom seeds, but I don't remember what they were.
Okay. Well, I do know watermelons over time, if you do not
Introduce
new genes to them, in other words, same stock. In other words, if you got Congos and you've had this Congo watermelon for 50 years, over time that watermelon will start running itself out. So you need to go buy some more Congos and put in there with them.
Because even Congo, all your heirlooms are a type of hybrid.
Yeah.
I mean, I know a lot of people don't understand this, but they're a type of hybrid. They're a cross as well, because our original watermelons weren't edible.
No, they're like a gourd.
So they did some crossing and some selective breeding and all this, that, and the other to get the edible watermelon. And so what he's trying to say is, if you don't introduce new genetics, then they start reverting back. And this is why the cross-pollination for hybrids, we have the hybrids that don't produce true to the parent because it's two different parents. And what happens is it picks one parent to be more like in the seeds. So this is the same thing happening with the watermelon. It's reverting back to one of its original parents. That's what he's trying to say. If you don't introduce the same genetics, newer same genetics, you end up reverting back.
I'm trying to think of a good example, but the only one example I can think of, I ain't going down that road. So humans interbreeding.
Oh gosh.
I forget that.
No.
You know.
No, we'll stay out of that one.
There we go.
Because that's not really a good example.
Well,
because that's not really. Because that's not picking a side. That is, both are the same side to start with.
That's why they say, like on fruit trees, sometimes you need different apple trees to pollinate.
Yeah, it helps encourage the fruit
Right.
in more quantity. Let's see. Heirloom seeds, can't remember. Okay. No new.
I'm going to look into that, Greg. You got my curiosity up on that.
Yeah, I'm going to have to look into that one too.
I mean, I'm not saying you're wrong. You may be 100% right in something I've never noticed or something. I'll have to.
Caused by too much water, but yeah.
What's that?
Too much white is caused by too much water.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is that thick rind.
True.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Too much water causes that rind to be real thick.
That's like with my Stone Mountains. I had planted them so long, and then they just got to where they just wasn't no good no more. And I couldn't get no more stock seed to replenish them with, to mix them up to see if they would do better. And kind of lost that seed stock.
Yeah, everybody thinks because it says water in the name, it needs lots of water. It actually does better with less.
Watermelon does a lot better without a lot of water.
That's what I said.
They only need about 3 rains on them. They need one when they first come out of the ground. They need one in the middle and right before they put off. And they do a heck of a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
Cantaloupe, same way.
All right. So we answered all those questions except for the chicken question.
Chicken question.
Mm-hmm. Have we answered all the gardening questions?
I guess. I don't know.
Better planted in sandy soil. I wish we had sandy soil.
Well, there's good things about sandy soil and there's bad things.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like clay. There's some good stuff about clay and bad about clay.
Yep.
Best land I ever found is creek bottom land if you can ever get it dry enough.
All right. So any more garden stuff before I cross into chicken territory?
I do want to
Dad
talk
would
about
always plant everything heirloom. Everything heirloom. I always saved the seeds. We also planted our crops, yellow watermelon and red ones. Exactly.
Oh yeah, you have to do that with the different varieties. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, that's it. That's going into that cross pollination we just started on with Spencer in the start of the video, because he said the cross pollination thing was confusing.
Yeah. So, that's like when we planted corn. We was planting 2 different types of corn. They were 2 miles apart from each other. And we went also.
You would make sure they tasseled at different times.
Yeah. Or we would also see what all our neighbors were growing.
Mm-hmm.
If they was all growing the same corn, it was good. If they wasn't, then we had to. We you know.
Yeah.
Now, on the big fields of corn that they're doing for feed, which is a hybrid anyway, it don't matter on them. But,
that pollen's kind of sterile anyway, isn't it?
Sterile. But if you get into heirloom type corns, yeah, you got to watch what's going on.
Yeah, I had heard that the ones that they use on the big fields was a sterile pollen. All right, so let's cross into chick territory. What do you need to raise chickens? What do you need to raise chickens? All right, so if you have chicks, say you went to anywhere selling chicks right now that's having current chick days, like where I work, you need a heat lamp, chick starter, water, and something under the chicks, and a container. So what do we use? We use a tote. I usually use newspaper. This year I switched to shavings. That way I could have some extra compost. But but I usually use newspaper. The first couple of days, I would use a paper towel because the paper towel is not slick, and slickness would cause splay leg where their legs don't stand up. So I would use paper towels in the first couple days. Otherwise, it was newspaper, and changed it out daily. But everywhere I'm seeing now uses shavings, so we're giving the shavings a try. I'll be honest, I'm not sure I like the shavings because they're scratching it up in the feed, they're scratching it up in the water, whereas with the newspaper, they're not scratching it up into anything because it's a sheet of newspaper covering the bottom of the bin. My water stayed clean, my feed stayed clean, the shavings, not so much. They're up in the feeders and the waters, and they're driving me insane. Overall, though, I think the shavings helps with the smell and stuff, though, because I don't have to use, if I use a thick layer of shavings, I don't have to clean it daily. I can clean it every couple days instead. So it depends on how much work you want to do, honestly. Newspaper, daily. Heat lamp. So let's talk about your heat lamp. Chicks, when they hatch at 100 degrees, 100.5 degrees. In order to thrive, they stay up under mamas if they're hatched naturally. For the first probably week almost, they stay up under mama almost constantly. And then they start getting in those feathers. So your heat lamp should keep your bin at 100 degrees for that first week. Now, your chicks will tell you if it's too hot or too cold. If they're screaming, it's usually because it's too cold, or they're out of feed, or they're out of water. Something's wrong. If they're all bunched up together, it's too cold. If they're all away from the heat lamp and there is like nothing under the heat lamp, that's a general good sign that it's too hot. Pasty butt is usually caused by brooders that are too hot. So that is what you need to start with chickens. A chick starter, water, heat lamp, a bedding, and a container. Now, this is where you could get into the medicated versus unmedicated feed. Get down, sister. I choose not to use medicated feed. Part of the reason I don't use medicated feed is because I don't want all the antibiotics and all that stuff in my food. I'm not going to say I'm organic, but I prefer not to have medicine in my feed from the time they start. Now, why might you want a medicated feed? At least for chicks. Coccidiosis. So coccidiosis is a zoonotic thing, meaning it's species specific. There are different types of coccidiosis. This one is a chicken disease, and medicated feeds help keep your chicks protected from it, basically. And it's basically they poop themselves to death, basically, is what it causes. So, yeah, if you are not experienced in raising chicks, you might want to start with a medicated feed, a medicated starter. Otherwise, like I said, I use a non-medicated starter. From there, when they get feathers in, I transition mine outside as fast as possible. Mine are 3 weeks old. No, they're a month old.
Yeah, I don't say.
They're a month old right now. We put them outside.
It's right before
already.
Spencer and them come down.
Yeah, we got them. Well, chick days was supposed to start on the 20th. Is the 20th when President's Day is? What is that cat doing?
I don't know.
Oh
Yeah,
my
cat
gosh.
again.
And then they didn't come in. And then when they came in, they sold out. No, mine are only 3 weeks because I didn't get any that first week. They came in when I wasn't there and they sold out. So mine are 3 weeks old. They're outside. Now, how are they outside? I did not just throw chicks outside for cold nights. They have a heat lamp. still outside. They have a little fenced in area to where they can graduate from the heat lamp, basically. They already have feathers. I wouldn't say they're fully feathered, but they're close. But they're like 3 weeks old. So they have a doghouse that they can get in and a heat lamp still available if they choose to be under it. That's the thing. They're going to come away from that heat lamp and they're going to get away from it eventually over time. And that's what I want. Most of the time, I don't raise chicks in this time of year. I wait till summer. That way I don't have to have that heat lamp because we have 100-degree days a lot here. And I wouldn't hesitate to say I'm sure some of our nights were hundreds almost, at least 90s, and chicks will be fine for that. So yeah, we put our chicks outside already. They're happy. They are loving it. They have been out there since Wednesday? Yeah, Wednesday. They've been out there all day and night, guys. Now, mine is not predator proof at all. If you do this, you might want to make it predator proof, okay? There is something to be said about the little bitty chicken houses that they buy at different little stores and stuff, because it's perfect for raising chicks in. Me, I would never use them to raise a chicken in. I don't see how they hold 6 chickens in this little bitty chicken house, but it'd be perfect for raising a chicken. Just open that little door, let them come out and let them come back in. You know, they come and go as they want. Make sure they got food, make sure they got water. When do I change from starter to feed? 3 months, maybe.
Yeah, something like that.
About the point where they're getting to the size of mostly grown. That's about the point where I change to a layer feed from the starter. Now, I change to a layer pellet, and I do a mini pellet because the crumbles, or layer mash as everybody calls it, they rate those out, and it's so wasteful. So I use a pellet. Don't be laughing at my hands. I saw you look. So yeah. And then about 6 months is where they start laying, possibly. Okay? So what do you need for chickens? Food, water, shelter. Now, shelter. How many of y'all know how our chickens are raised? We have the cattle panel. They have the cattle panel hoop house with a tarp on the back side and the netting to protect them from predators. The doors are open. Guess where my chickens were when it was 9 degrees here? Either in the tree above the coop or on the coop itself. Yes. Did they have heat lamps? Nope, they did not. They survived just fine and were quite happy about it. And they never even stopped laying me eggs. They slowed down because that's what chickens do in winter. But they did not stop laying eggs in 9-degree weather, sitting on top of my coop or in the tree. Yes.
Lower made animals take stuff. Now, wind is rough on them and water's rough on them. So
but do y'all know where mine are when it rains?
On top of that coop.
They're in the same spot, in the tree or on top of the coop, instead of inside where they were intended to be. When I put mine inside the coop and shut the door, one of 2 things happens. They find a way out, or it stresses them to the point they stop laying. And they will not start laying until I let them out. I'm not kidding. So ours, when we say we have free-range chickens, we have free-range chickens.
Hello, MB Heritage Farms.
So, all right, let me come back and read. I know Misty wants to know what type of chicks I have. Make you a platform with small legs on it and small wire. Yeah. They will get on it to get to their feed and water and clean their feet. Absolutely, yes.
Yeah, I got to build.
That is really what I need to do with the hardware cloth and set that water on top of that. But otherwise, I like the bedding, the flake shavings it seems to do better than the newspaper if it just stay out of the dadgum feed. Yeah. Let's see. They can't scratch anything into it. Exactly. Went through that too when you went to shavings. Exactly. And I keep saying I'm going to do that, but I just haven't done it yet. And John keeps ducklings, he said. I keep ducking. Why do you keep ducking, Mr. John? All right. So that's what you need, y'all. We sell.
You didn't tell her what kind of chicks you got.
I know. We're still on the what do you need to raise chicks though.
Okay.
We sell a breakfast blend for our chickens in 3 different flavors. We sell, y'all, when I had to put that stuff on the shelf, I just looked at that and was like, a breakfast blend? And they have a choice of apple, banana, or something else.
All that.
And I'm just sitting here going, when did this become necessary?
Just the way to make money.
Yeah.
It's a marketing thing.
So somebody once asked me in the store what my best piece of advice for raising chickens was. And it is actually the best piece of advice I can give you for a lot of things. How many of you know KISS? Keep it simple. Stupid. Keep it simple. KISS. I'm trying to be nice and not say the last word. But keep it simple. That's the best piece of advice I can give you for chickens. Keep it simple. They don't require tons of stuff. They were not meant to be your pet in the house.
If somebody wants to,
That's a whole different raising, though, if that's what you're wanting. But to raise chickens the way it was originally meant, keep it simple. Water, pellets, or crumble. I prefer a pellet. Shelter. And that's really it. Now, if you have a small coop and your chickens are not free ranging at all, then you do need to free feed grit of some sort. And that can be sand, little tiny ground up pebbles. It can be your eggshells crushed back up to give back to them. It can be the oyster shells even. Do not mix it in with the feed. Offer it free choice. Okay? Because you have some chickens that will eat everything in that dish. And I have a customer that came in and his chicken has pretty much filled his crop with grit and oyster shell because the way they did it was mix it all up versus offering it free choice. Do you have to buy oyster shells? Again, we crush up the eggshells and feed it back to them. That's a source of calcium. Whatever grit you're using could have a calcium in it. Me personally, I say if it's not broke, don't fix it. If your eggs are hard, they don't need it. So that's where I am on that. If they're kept in a small pen, then you do have to offer grit because they have a crop versus teeth. And they got to have the grit in there to digest their food. So, now then, what type of chicks do we have? All right. So what type did I get? I bought white leghorns. That was the one I wanted this year because I want to go back to my best egg laying breed. We have a whole yard full of dual purpose scrawny roosters for the freezer. I wanted my big white egg. I know it's a white egg. I wish it was brown, but it's not. But it tastes the same on the inside no matter what the shell color is.
That other type of leghorn?
Brown leghorn still lays a white egg.
Oh, does it?
Yeah. A leghorn lays a white egg. So it's a smaller chicken, but it laid the largest egg of all my chickens, even the bigger breeds. It outlaid all of them in size and quantity. If I had to guess, that chicken laid 365 eggs a year. Whereas some of the others laid 290 or 330 or whatever. For 2 years, we would go out there, and every single day there was a large white egg.
That chicken ain't much good for nothing else.
Nothing else. There is no meat on this bird whatsoever. But there is a reason that the leghorn is the production commercial egg laying breed, or it used to be. I don't know if it still is or not. So that was my number one chicken that when they came in, I bought. Now, what other chickens do I have? So at the end of the day, when we get down to just 4 chicks at work,
Get down.
I purchased 4 chicks just so we can get that tank cleaned out. So right now I have, of course, my white leghorns. I have some sort of Easter egger breed that I've not heard of. Is it Starlight Easter egger or something that they came out with? So it lays a colored egg. And I have 2 regular Easter eggers, because that was all that was left that day. There was 2 regular Easter eggers. And then I think it's a sapphire, something onyx, pearl onyx. So that's the 3 that came home this other day. I think it was a week or so ago that I brought home them 3, or Ella brought them home rather.
Right.
So I think it was pearl onyx or something like that. Do I know anything about that breed? I absolutely do not. I don't know anything about that breed. They've come up with so many production breeds that I am lost on all the different breeds. What breeds are my favorite breeds? Black Astrolabe, because it's a very good dual purpose breed that is very well suited for coop living. White Leghorns, not suited for coop living very much.
They like free range.
They like to free range, and they are also very much the boss of the coop. So if you have a docile breed in there with them, they're going to be bottom of the pecking order, because that white leghorn will peck them to death. Maybe not to death, but it won't be
That
pretty.
scrawny chicken stuff.
Yeah, that little man syndrome comes right on out. What's another breed? Well, y'all, I have been looking at that American Breast that everybody's going crazy over in the homesteading community. And if they were affordable, that would be one that I wanted, because it is a very good dual purpose breed. My original favorite breeds are always going to be Orpingtons. I love those Orpingtons. They are my favorite always. And Mark's is a Dominecker. So that's our breeds. I love Brahmas, but Brahmas aren't the best layers. I love
Pretty chicken.
They are very pretty chicken. And a good dual purpose also, but they're not the best layer, believe it or not. I love Morans for that chocolate colored egg. And I love Silkies. Silkies, they're so ugly, only a mother can love them, but oh my gosh, Silkies are cute. They're so ugly, they're cute.
I ain't never figured out something had 6 claws on these.
You know, and it's 5. They got 5.
Look like 6.
It's 5. It's like this.
I know.
This is their foot shape.
That time,
literally.
the first time I seen their foot, I said,
The world, yeah. This is their foot shape. It really is. They have 5 claws, and there may be one back here. I can't remember. But black skin, the black skin, all that good stuff. But yeah, Silkies is my other favorite, and a Cochin. Those 2 breeds are very good at being broody and hatching anything and everything you put out there. Let's see.
Mm.
Oh, that's for people who think their chickens can tell the difference. Yeah. Yeah, mine don't complain. They don't get breakfast blend. Swept the driveway for grit and gravel. Exactly. I'm all for that. Yeah. Sand even. We even take our grass for hay now. I don't know if y'all saw that when Mark Bush hogs. I go behind and rake. I'm all about using what I have versus going and buying something. So yeah, sweep the grit and gravel off the driveway. Be perfect. Get 2 a day from a leghorn. I have never gotten 2 a day from a leghorn. I have gotten a double egger once from a leghorn. That's pretty cool because the way they're designed is for 1 a day. If you get 2 a day, that's pretty cool. Easter eggers, blue eggs, love my Easter eggers. So we also have Whiting True Blue and Whiting True Green. So we've got blue eggs and green eggs out there. And we have, what we technically have now happening is my Cuckoo Moran and whatever newest Easter eggers have kind of mixed, and they are laying olive colored eggs. So if you want an olive colored egg, you take the Moran and mix it with an Easter egger, and it gets that olive. The brown egg and the blue egg or the green egg mix, you get olive. They've got a lot of new mixes out there based for colors, because some people are getting just for the colors. What else do we have out there now? The Cuckoo Moran. I still have a Brahma, or do I have 2 out there? And that Colombian, is it a Colombian Wyandotte? No. What is that?
You got to do some extra out there.
What is that big white one without the feathered feet? Plymouth?
I don't know what all you got out there. All I know is a bunch of chicken.
I can't remember. It's not the Delaware. It was something we got from the co-op. Colombian something. Maybe it's Colombian Rock. I don't remember. But we've got that out there. But most of what's out there is officially a barnyard mix. The gold lace Wyandotte is still out there that you got me. Yeah. But yeah, we're down to a barnyard mix because most everything out there is just mixed up now. I thought it was a Colombian Wyandotte, but it's big. It's not the size of the Wyandottes. It's the size of a Brahma. Let's see. Had a white leghorn with a huge game rooster and got some of the best laying hens. Absolutely. Laid a brown egg. There you go. Yeah, I don't remember what that chicken is. I want to say it's a Colombian something, but I can't remember. So and it was a cross. I do remember that. They told me what the cross was when I purchased it, and I'd forgotten. I have slept since then, guys. Yeah, I have slept since then. To quote a phrase there, I have slept since then. So it's gone. I think we have talked out chickens now.
Okay.
If y'all do chickens need mealworms? No.
Do they like them? Yeah.
They like them though. Yep.
They like red worms and wigglers and night crawlers too, and they like all kinds of bugs.
They don't seem to like tomato hornworms though.
Yeah, the big green would tear them apart.
Yeah, ours don't.
Oh, that's weird.
It was very weird.
I bet you a big old gobbler out there with him.
Oh, I bet he would. I bet you Major Tom would. Yeah, I'm ready to throw him some and see what he does with them.
I bet he'd gobble them down. Because I've killed turkeys before, and they have them old big black locusts that'll be that long.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know, Major Tom. I don't know what he's going to be like. I know I've got to cut his feed back somehow. We've got to come up with a solution for him. So, any of y'all watching our videos, y'all seen our one turkey. Our one turkey, unfortunately, he's a bronze-breasted, which is a production breed. And if you're familiar with like Cornish cross, he's the Cornish cross of the turkey world.
Yeah, I'm afraid we're going to have to.
We are probably going to have to do something about Mr. Tom. And how did Major Tom get his name? Well, a tom is a male turkey. So I would always go out there and I would say, "How you doing today, Mr. Tom?" And in the back of my head, "Ground control to Major Tom." So he become Major Tom. Yeah, it just I don't know why, it is. And he still loves his ladies, the 4 guineas, even though 2 of them are male and 2 of them are female.
I don't know who's who out there with that.
I don't know if he thinks he's a turkey, if he thinks they're turkeys, or if they think he's a guinea. We're not sure, but they are still pretty much inseparable. The downside is the guineas can now jump the fence and do leave Mr. Tom behind.
Yeah, and he don't like it.
He don't like it. He stands there gobbling, wanting them to come back through the fence, and he doesn't stop until they do. So, yeah.
That bunch is aside.
Yeah. That's what happens when you raise them together as chicks. I was very worried when we got the guineas that they were going to be all over the neighborhood, that they would
we got
be,
a few more, they will.
that they would be gone. They haven't left the fence.
Well,
Now-
they have got outside.
Well, yeah, they stay right around the fence. They don't go far. I was very
You get about 10
surprised.
to 12, they'll make that mile round.
I don't know if they would or not,
Yeah, I bet
because
they
they're
will.
stuck with Mr. Tom.
Yeah.
I think that was the best thing we did, raising them with the turkey, or raising them with the chickens, because they were inseparable from them chicks to start with. Remember?
They was raising cane, something.
They
out there
were.
about something this morning.
I don't
I
know
thought
what.
they was fixing to tear the place down out there. Him and the
Probably
turkeys.
Langston went through there,
And then the roosters was going crazy.
because they don't like it when Langston goes through there. Oh, did you hear Sister barking yesterday? Yesterday
Well, I
morning.
hear her barking a lot of days. But
Well, yesterday morning she was up at the fence line, barking at something. Would not stop. I couldn't figure out what it was. I looked out there, and it's something, a little black thing on the other side of the other people's fence. I had to go get my glasses. It was Moshi
oh, Moosey.
sitting in the people's property over there. And Sister was not happy, wanted Moshi to get back in her own yard. Yeah,
Yeah, we got some character animals.
we do. We have characters. Let's see. Turkey legs. I like that. I like turkey legs. Oh, he's free range. Oh, yeah.
Sis-
That might pose a problem for company. Yeah, Sister got to get her screen time again. So,
Oh yeah, if a turkey gets mean, they like a yard dog. But
Mhm.
if something gets out, my brother-in-law had one. I finally had to kick him like a football one day to keep him off the kids. I mean, he was fixing to flog the kids. And he had spurs on him. He'd half. He'd hurt you.
yeah, Major Tom's not even a
I
year
had
old
them
yet.
about broke my foot when I kicked him. I hated to, but that's the only way I could get rid of him. Because he was a flogging boy.
Watch the meter reader for a count. That's cool. All right. So what else we got to talk about today?
Well, one thing you brought that was brought up in the yard
Mm-hmm.
the other day, and I'm glad I said something real quick, was
Oh yeah,
do not put crappie in a pond or
forgot
a
about
small
that.
lake.
Yeah.
Because they will take it over.
Yep.
There won't be no size to
So
it.
we have 2 ponds, and we do allow sometimes people to
Come
put
fish.
something they catch in there.
Or come fish.
We've had a person drop off a couple of catfish they caught and put in there. Friend of mine offered to drop Mark off some brim. Crappie with eggs and in them and still alive and all. And I told him, yeah, no problem. So he pulled up in the yard the other day, yesterday in fact, and he said, "Did you tell your husband what I was going to do?" I said, "No, just let it be a surprise." Well, here come Mark walking across the yard, and I said, "Well, just go ahead and tell him yourself. He's right there. Just go ahead and tell him." So Mark comes over and he tells him, and Mark says, "No, don't do that." I was like, "Why not?" I didn't know. They'd take over the pond. So also, don't surprise your pond owner with fish.
Yeah, they crappie will get in a small pond, and then they'll just take it over, and they'll stay small. They won't get big.
Yeah.
It's you know.
I didn't know. But our pond does have brim, and it has bass, and
A few
now
cats.
a couple of catfish.
Yeah, I gotta get some more Mars back here. And
Yeah.
I gotta get those copper no bluegill
Hmm.
because they don't reproduce.
Oh, they don't.
Yeah, that's what I like about it. They get huge real quick. And then we'll probably put channel flats or flatheads in the other one.
Janelle says she'll come take care of them for us.
Or I thought about getting some blue cats if I could find some.
Janelle said
I'd
she'll
rather
come-
have yellow cat, but yellow cat don't do good.
Janelle said she'll come
Yeah.
take care of those
Yeah.
those crappie for you.
Well, she needs to go up on the hunting club on the lake.
Yes, she does.
They caught a big one up there here a while back, almost 4 pounds.
Oh wow, that's a big crappie.
But they only bite a certain time of year up there, then they quit
Mhm.
biting. I don't know why.
Yeah.
That pond up there on the club's weird. You can go one day, them fish will tear it up. Go next 2 weeks, won't nothing bite.
Right.
I don't know, it's weird up there. Maybe all that paranormal Bigfoot stuff. I don't know.
Could be. Who knows? Oh, we had an interesting comment on your Hatchet Creek video. You need to go back and look at that and read it.
Here last day or something.
Yeah, we might have our first problem.
It's on Hatchet Creek. I'll check it out.
Might have
Well,
our
I
first
figure
problem.
as we get a little larger,
Yeah.
we're slowly growing. I figure we're gonna start having the trolls and the
And
troublemakers.
that one,
And pretty soon, if our live starts getting bigger and bigger, we might have to have us a couple.
and I'll be
people that-
honest with you, I feel like I know this person. That's part of my problem with it. I feel like I know this person. So
Well, you don't know if you do or not, actually.
Mitchell, Jay Mitchell. I feel like they're a local. That's why I said I feel like I know this person.
Well, I mean, everybody don't believe, baby.
Oh, well, and that's what this one is. Definitely non-believer.
You're gonna have them pop up, and I hope they don't learn the hard way one day and have a bad surprise one day when they walk out the back door one night or go fishing or camping or hunting and have a surprise. But you know, it is what it is. You know, not everybody's going to believe. I wish they would, but you know, it's just.
Yeah, now I don't see it.
Well, we'll worry about that later. I'll look
Yeah.
at that. I ain't gonna worry about that right now. We're on live right now.
I forgot you got to hit that newest button. So, yeah. So you'll have to go answer that one.
It must have popped up in the last day or so.
Yeah, 2 hours ago. So, and
Yeah.
it's
Sometimes best thing to do is not answer them.
well, when you're the channel, you have to answer it somehow. So I just don't know how to answer that one. So
Well, everybody's got their beliefs,
Mhm.
and I mean that's fine. And when they finally see one that, you know, they'll change their mind real quick.
oh, and while I'm on
Especially as we get closer to the end of time, more things is gonna pop up.
my text, I lost my motorcycle.
Oh, did you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
She's gonna keep it.
Okay.
I told her I was not super mad about that.
Okay. All right. So what else we gonna talk about?
Well, that's all that I have in Spencer's list.
All that was Spencer's.
Oh, that was we done been here.
Okay.
We done been there. We done.
This was an hour. Just say okay.
All that was Spencer. Yep.
Oh, my Lord have mercy.
If you can't say nothing nice, well, that wasn't how mine was worded. mine was not worded quite that way. But yeah, that's very much the gist of it. Did you read her comment?
Yeah.
That wasn't how my mama worded it. But I like that version.
There you go, Greg. That is one of my favorite
I've not had
slogans.
the troll.
I've had a lot of people say,
Yes.
start, I don't believe in that. I've been hunting in them woods for 50 years. Ain't seen nothing, blah, blah, blah.
Come go with me.
I said, when you want to go?
Come go with me.
Start kind of looking at you funny. I said,
Let's go.
no gun. We're not going to build a fire. We're going to sit on the tailgate.
Just sit there.
We're going to sit there. And I'm going to carry you right to the middle of them. I know how to bring them up most of the time. You know, they don't always make noise when they come up, but they're gonna come up and see what's going on, and you know, we'll get them up to us, and they kind of get shut up real quick.
Yeah, no, I'm good.
And one of my favorite ones, and I do this just to get a real good look at them. I said, "Well, anybody goes with me, and I know this is gonna sound ugly. Please forgive me, but you know, be ready to be stump broke." So, yeah, I know I shouldn't have said that, but
I'm waiting to see how many go with stump broke.
and I've had some looks more like, "Whoa," you know. But all kidding aside, one of the best things you can tell people is,
Let's go.
let's go. And the other thing is, you can't be in every square foot of those woods at one time. You know, I've heard people say, "Well, I've been hunting this 200 acres all my life. I ain't seen a thing over there." Well, man, you can't be on every square foot of that 200 acres at one time. And these things know you're coming, but way before you know it. I mean, they hear you pull up in a vehicle. They know what they're the master of the woods. They're the ultimate woodsman. I mean, that's about what you can say.
Mm-hmm.
We done figuring out they got extra abilities we don't know about. We're trying to figure out what they are. You know, and I believe the closer we get to the end of time, we're going to start seeing a lot more, because I think a veil has been lifted up. I guess you could say the veil's been opened. So I think we're going to start seeing a lot more stuff over the next few years. Yeah, I'll deal. I mean, I knew you was going to start getting them one day. That's one reason I hated to get too big. I didn't want to grow too quick, because I always tell everybody I want quality, not quantity. And right now we got a good group of people.
Good quality people.
Got good quality people that are sincere, but they like to have fun too, and it's a good group.
Mm-hmm.
But I know the bigger we get,
yeah,
we're gonna have
they'll
the
be
issues.
there. We'll have trolls. I still haven't gone back and looked at that dude's thing. I'm just glad it took it out on its own. But we may end up having to get a moderator.
Yeah, we may have to.
I don't know who to do, because you know everybody's got so many already. They do. Ask them how many 12-point bucks they seen. There you go. There you go.
I agree. There's a lot of things.
Oh, he is from Talladega.
Oh Lord, we're done looking up somebody. Says he has issues, best to leave him alone. So you done dealt with him some, Flat Rock.
I know what he's heard in the woods and some things I found I can't explain. Yep, exactly.
That's right, Misty. I mean, you asked me back before 2007. I knew something was there, but I couldn't pinpoint it, because being a coon hunter, being in the woods at night a lot, I knew I was hearing stuff. But two, I was at that age where I kind of brushed it off, you know.
10 foot tall and bulletproof.
Well, yeah, just, you know, and then when I had that and people around that tree at me down in Lowndes County, I thought, these things are real. And then when I got figured out they were on the hunting club, oh yeah, boy.
Yep.
When that big 10-footer, 10 foot, however tall he was, stood upside behind the truck at night, I knew these things wasn't normal. I mean, you know.
I will say that Bigfoot Investigator was never on my list of things to do when I grew up.
Well, I watched a little bit of it when I was a kid, but never really thought about it.
I don't think I did anything about Bigfoot anywhere.
And what's weird, and Greg may can attest to this too, there seemed like in 2007, 6, and 8, in that range right in there was a lot of sightings.
Mm-hmm.
Was it because technology was getting better, or was it because these things are multiplying more and showing themselves more? Something to think about. I thought about that a lot. I see where a lot of people all got started around in that time period. Now, it could have been because it started finally getting popular on the internet too. But
well, that's about the time period where all that was coming out too. where the internet was really popular, and Facebook had come out, in MySpace and all that, and somewhere in that area too. And
'Cause I know me
so
and Greg,
people talked about those sightings
me and
more.
Greg's experiences kind of around the same
Mhm.
time period there, and I mean, it's just, I don't know, it's weird. It's weird. And it's weird that me and him end up with the same mentor.
Mhm.
I mean, that's kind of strange. Which we
Mhm.
both live in Alabama, so that makes that happen a little easier. But kind of like it was meant to be, almost in some ways.
Big egos. Yep.
All right. And that's the thing. I try to respect people that don't believe. I mean, I don't keep pushing it on them. I don't
My
say,
sister don't believe.
well, I know, and I don't aggravate her about it. I tell her she's welcome to go
Yep.
anytime. Now, if I get one that's being a butthole about it, and what I mean by butthole, they start
Troll.
worrying me to death like it worked, or I mean, they start getting on my nerves about it. And I have guys that joke with me, but I know they're joking. I know I've been knowing them long enough, and
Hey,
I
Mark
joke.
D, I think a lot of us are cray cray.
But if I get one that just keeps on, that's the ones I'll call their bluff real quick. Like say, hey, when you want to go, I'll carry you straight up there. We'll go to Mount Olive where the mean ones are.
Mhm.
I'm ready to go from down there, but I'll go down there and stand for a while.
Okay, let's go.
What? I ain't going down there fooling with him right now.
I want to see.
I had to call Jimmy and ask him.
Okay.
But last time I was down there, I wasn't happy about it. I was ready to leave. And I ain't usually too scared of nothing. That fear was coming over me quick.
I want to go.
Which that may have been them pushing us out too. I don't know. Let's see.
Yeah, my family definitely laughs.
Let's see. Let's see what everybody say in a minute.
Look. I poked my finger with a security device.
That didn't feel good, did it?
It did not. And it bled for an hour.
Yeah, Greg, Mr. Tao was a good guy. I wish a lot more people could have met him. Down to earth, Southern gentleman. And the man had some credentials. That's what a lot of people don't realize. That man was a sheriff investigator, head of a security team for a mining company all over the world. Him and Kumbo kind of running neck to neck there. I think they were one of the two most traveled Bigfoot researchers. And Kumbo's another great guy. Real good guy. Think the world of both of them. Hey, Mr. Tao's gone. I need to do a contribute video to him one of these days. Need to get with Greg and a few others, Kumbo. Maybe meet up somewhere and do a little contribute video for him. That's a good guy. Get Keith. A few others that's had a lot of dealings with him. I never forget one day I had a package come in the mail. It was from him. It was a big old box, and I'm like, what in the world he done sent me now? So I open it up, and it's a nice tray of rocks labeled from all over the world. He said, this is for your daughter, Katie, or Kat, because he said, every time she's been with you, she's picking up rocks, looking at them. And he said, over the years, I've collected all these rocks from when I was in the mining company. They were all over South America.
Does she still have that?
Some of it, yeah.
That's
Jonathan
cool.
got into it one time, messed it up, when he was little. But I'll never forget
But that's
that.
cool.
And boy, she liked those rocks. And I think she still picks up rocks.
That's cool.
But yeah, that was real cool, real nice of him. And he that tells you how observant man he was.
Mhm.
Even though we was out there looking for Bigfoot stuff and talking, he was also paying attention to her, what she was doing. And he noticed she liked them rocks, you know. Yeah, Greg. Yep. Janelle, that'll be good. I need to get back down to Falk myself.
We do.
I hope everybody liked the video this week with Pat and Joe. I did not realize that was Pat's first time to be on video.
We got
And
it.
Chris Reinhardt was good with it, so that made me feel better. So
I can't believe she's not been on anybody's
she don't like the
videos.
camera.
And she did it for you. That's pretty cool.
That made me feel very nice.
Which they're not on here tonight.
Yeah, they may be out in the woods.
They probably are. Which,
Joe's finna retire, so
yeah, as I say, I'm missing Joe doing his picking through here.
and they
Because
may
usually I'm having to get on to Joe and Pat and Misty and Spencer.
Yeah, that's right, Mr. Mark D. You got credible people. They're good, honest people, and they tell you they've seen them. They're not making it up. They're not making it up. And I wouldn't waste nobody's time if if it wasn't real. I wouldn't be making all these videos if it wasn't real. There's a lot of other things I like to do. I love to hunt and fish.
We're going to talk about tractors.
Yeah, boy, now you get me started on farm malls and Animals Chandlers. We can go for a while. But, I do need to do a tractor video badly.
Oh my goodness.
What
I
is
just noticed Mark D pointed it out. We have Mark D and Mark G.
Right.
I noticed it, but
I don't know of
Y'all do
anything
good
this week
picking on
really
each
going
other
on
to
in the
see.
Bigfoot world. I hadn't really heard nothing.
it's funny.
Beast TV had on a good guest last night. She's Native American. I cannot remember her name now. Lord, I can't. What was her name? She's part of that Cindy Goodbreak. Goodbreak, I think it is, yeah. I think she was in that group. They're out Idaho. And so she's Native American. I think she's half of one tribe and half of another. But what caught my attention right off the bat was some of the stuff she was talking about is some of the same stuff me and Keith were experiencing for a while when they were start talking to us, leaving us the gifts.
Mm-hmm.
And I wonder if it's because me and Keith both have that native blood in us. I don't know. Maybe.
I don't know.
Because Keith got more than I got.
Mm-hmm. But I got it too.
Yeah, you
And
got
I
it too.
still ain't got nothing.
Hell, I don't know about. I'm gonna tell you on that one. Well,
Like I
you
said-
got but you got some stuff I don't got.
Yeah, that's true. But I don't get to experience.
But I don't look nothing like no Indian. I look like pure Anglo-Saxon, or Scottish.
And what do I look like?
You do have some native look to you. But I don't know. Something to think about.
Mhm.
Something to think about.
Like I said, they do that video at the Bigfoot expedition where that one little girl is best friends with Bigfoot, and then they tell Bigfoot they can't see the little girl no more. I wonder if I'm related to that little girl.
Maybe. It's hard to say.
I know that's an extreme, but and I know that's a fantasy, but
I don't know. There's people were
But ever
wrong.
since then, Bigfoot has remained hidden. You don't remember watching
Well,
that?
you hadn't really seen them, but you've had all their activity
Right,
that it wasn't something else. You know it was them.
right.
And you had that step out the road that we three seen. You just seen
And
a
I
cloud.
just saw nothing.
So that
Yeah.
eye perception is different with you than
Mhm.
the rest of us.
That's what I'm
So
saying. What if I'm that little girl's family that's not allowed to see?
it could be. That was a tale from the Cherokees. So I don't know. Let's see.
Gifting food can turn bad. What do you think, Mark? I think it can.
Well,
I think it can. Especially if
Yeah.
you're gifting food at home.
yeah, because when me and Keith started doing it on the hunting club, and then we had that one got mad, which I think was an alpha, but I have no way to prove that. But I think we had juveniles that were taking the food. They was loving that peanut butter and crackers and peanut butter jelly sandwiches. And They didn't like the meat. They wouldn't take the meat. And it's taking the watermelons till one day they
Too
busted
processed.
one of them watermelons. They got mad. I think the alpha came in and broke it up because it's leaving us feathers, acorns, rocks, bones.
Oh my goodness! How did I miss that?
So yeah, be careful feeding. If I was going to feed, I'd do it somewhere way, way far from my house, and I wouldn't do it where many people go. If I was going to feed, I really just wouldn't feed. Really.
Something to think about too with the feeding. So, Mark's group on the hunting club followed him home.
Yes, I did.
And then we think they even followed him when he moved. So if you're feeding and it's local to you, it could go home with you. So just something to keep in mind. And then when you stop feeding, what happens? They're expecting it. They're coming to you to get it. So
Yeah, Misty, that was that lady. Yes, Angela. This is how you pronounce it.
Angelique Brenham. All right. So did you see Flat Rock's comment up there? You need to promote the Chitlin Festival here in Winston County.
No, it's Greg.
Oh, it is Greg. Sorry.
Flat Rock might get mad at you saying that,
Oh, I
man.
know. I'm sorry.
I
can't read.
I had to borrow Greg's post the other day on Facebook. It popped up. I couldn't stand it, so I had to copy Spencer in it. And I think a couple more people, I think Misty and Flat Rock and somebody else commented on it. But yeah.
I am not going anywhere near the Chitlin Festival. I'm with Spencer on that one. You can't get them things clean enough. I'm sorry.
Hey, it tickled me. The post was high school students cleaning.
I know. I saw it. And did you see the faces on a couple of them too?
Oh yeah, they wasn't happy.
Yeah, no. You can't get that stuff clean enough. I'm sorry. Chitlins, feet.
I wonder if Spencer's getting real mad at me if I started calling him Chitlin. That's his nickname. I bet he'd get hot about that. Because it's almost come out of my mouth a few times.
All y'all people that eat the pickled pig's feet.
Oh me.
How you do it? You can't get that sucker
Right.
clean
Flat
enough.
Rock, a lot of times I have some reports where they were going getting food off people's back porches, like dog food,
Yep.
cat food. Scott
Digging through the garbage.
Carpenter talked about the same thing.
The one at Winter Barrel, going through the garbage.
You're going through the garbage.
At the school.
Of course, they'll raid your gardens.
Mhm.
Coonbo talks about his people used to plant a garden for them just to keep them maybe out from the garden up there at the house. His grandma would go down there and plant peas and corn and watermelons all down there next to somewhere in the
let them have
very
it.
back, and let them have it to keep him hopefully from coming up there at the house getting in it. But they will get in it. I used to wonder a lot of times I'd be pulling corn in my fields that I was gonna have for field corn because I'd pull it by hand, and a lot of times I would notice a lot of shucks corn would be gone out of the shucks, and I'd be like, "What in the world?" And you wouldn't see no cob on the ground or anything. And I have walked up on cobs way out in the woods. Now I know coyote told it out there, coon maybe a little piece, or something, fox or something. But that coon will ride down the corn stalk. Coyote will too. This didn't ride down the corn stalk. Corn stalk was still standing good, and that ear was about 6 foot off the ground. So that told me either a human or Bigfoot was getting that corn. I mean, it's about the only two animals, only two things that have hands that could do that without tearing it down. I've seen that several times.
Taking horse hay. You'll find it in the woods on the ground, but always next to a cedar tree.
Yeah. The way you win, king
Ew.
and queen.
Ew.
That's pretty good, yeah.
No.
Yeah. Oh,
No.
me.
Told you can't get them clean enough. Just no.
Yeah, Mr. John, they do some weird things. They do some Weird things. Yes, Mr. Dark D, there's a lot about cedar trees. There's a lot of people find those strips of cedar bark rolled up, made into balls. I ain't never understood that. I think they find a lot of those up in Tennessee. Misty might know something about that. Misty's right. They probably getting bored.
Talking about the grandkids.
Oh, she's talking
That's
about
what that
grandkids.
is.
Oh, I thought she was talking
Yeah,
about
Janelle's kids.
Okay,
They play
I'm sorry. I thought
They
she.
playing ball.
Okay, I thought she was.
People are getting bored here.
I think they get bored like we do.
But cedar's a natural bug repellent. That's what I was
true.
about to say.
But they find
She
a
beat
lot.
me to it.
They find a lot of those balls rolled up there in Tennessee.
You mean balls?
It's like they take you know how cedar has the flaky.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Bark.
like, and of course that sap's in with it, so
Mhm.
that sucker will make a perfect ball, and they'll find them all over the place.
They
I
rolled
don't
it
know
up
what
and
else
rubbed it on
animal.
them somehow.
Well, that or they're playing with them or something. I don't know.
Yeah, who knows?
Maybe the juveniles and copying and watching the humans play with the balls or something. I don't know. Scott Carpenter talks about it a lot. That what's her name? That Janice Carter, that Mary Green, all of them that lived up in there in that part of Tennessee used to talk about it a lot. There's pictures of it. Now I don't know if somebody may have made it up. I don't know. I'm not going to say that because I don't know. But because up there they got a lot more cedar trees than we got down this way.
Yep. They mash up the pulp and eat it according to someone she listened to.
Could be.
Could be. I couldn't imagine eating cedar bark. I can't imagine that would taste good.
Anybody got any questions? Because I know we don't want to wear everybody out tonight. I know we kind of.
We're right at 2 hours now.
Oh, are we? We've been on here that long? Wow.
Yeah.
Well,
Spencer's comment took up a while.
How much you get on him tomorrow?
No, because it gave me stuff to talk about.
Oh yeah. Oh no. I done got a question. I got to answer. Well, I actually done answered, but I did go into more
What
detail.
was it?
We'll talk later.
Okay.
It ain't nothing bad. Or
No.
Let's see. Like I said, there's nothing new in the Bigfoot world I know of right now. Greg, they were
Taking marks too.
they was getting mine, carrying them up on the hunting club. Then finding them later.
You have a new listener. Hey. Got here late.
Hey, how's it going? That's Jody,
Mhm.
Pat's friend.
Oh, okay.
Glad to have you.
Hey, Joe.
Glad to have you. There was another homestead. I don't know if you spoke to him, MB.
MB, I saw the Heritage Farms. I think I said hey. I know you did, and I think they pop in and every now and then.
Oh, yeah. Well, a lot of people, you go talking about Bigfoot leave, and that's fine. I mean, they come here from homestead, but there's some homesteaders just having problems too, and they know it. So,
Yep.
I can't think of anything offhand.
Well, and I'll tell you a fad going on with the homesteading community right now. And I hesitate to say this, but it's like people don't want to listen to me when I tell them how to do something gardening wise. And I went to school for it. Because such and such homesteader online said to do it this way, so that's the way they need to do it.
Well, let me say this. Sometimes going by the book gets you in trouble.
It does.
But also going the other way gets you in trouble.
Exactly.
And you have to find that happy medium.
Exactly. And I'll talk to you about that one later, too.
You have to find that happy medium.
Because it's your cousin.
You have to find that happy. You have to find that happy medium, what works best for you, your property, your climate, what you can grow there.
It's the thing that they're spending all this X amount of dollars because the homesteader said they have to.
Okay.
The YouTube channel said they have to. So.
Well.
That's where we are right now with the homesteaders.
I do, yeah.
it's again, we're going away from keeping it simple. Here's my take on homesteading, guys. Keep it simple. We said that earlier. And the reason I'm saying this, if you can't learn to grow a tomato without spending hundreds of dollars on growing that tomato, what are you going to do when the crap hits the fan and you can't have access to that hundreds of dollars worth of product anymore? You need to learn how to grow it without hundreds of dollars to grow it.
You got to think the same way with your animals with feed
Yeah.
and everything. I mean, I know some people don't have enough property to be able to do that, but
Right.
what I'm saying, you got to think in your head,
Mm-hmm.
what if feed became a problem for these
She's
animals?
planting bush beans in a green stalk.
Anyway, well, sometimes people got to do trial and error too, baby. I mean,
Nothing in the ground anywhere.
you got to just do trial and error. Let's see, where was I at?
Trial and error. What your ground is like. Science versus.
Well,
Really?
I was going to talk about feed for a minute.
Oh yeah.
So you have chickens, you have goats, rabbits, whatever you have, which I know they can eat a lot of grass and be fine. But if you're supplementing so much with feed, you got to think about that. What if the feed dries up? I mean, it could happen. I mean, we got having these derailments happening all over the country, which what I've read, our derailments are half of what they used to be. I heard back in the 60s and 70s it was bad. But, disruption to the supply chain, disruption of labor in the markets, all this stuff just keeps happening, and which I know where it's going, and most people do too, is toward the beast system. But you got to think ahead about how am I going to do this if it gets to the point I can't get what I need. So you need to practice that. You need to practice learning where your best soil is on your place, and all kinds of different things, drainage. And I know it takes a lot of money to straighten a lot of it out too, or time. So anyway, anybody got any questions? If they don't, we have to get off here. You're right, Mr. John. It's a lot of times you need to listen to the people that lives exactly in your area.
A lot so.
Yeah.
And even then, you've got small, minor differences in microclimates.
Because what does good in Alabama might not do well in Kentucky or Virginia or or vice versa.
And you also made a comment about maybe you have a place you can homestead. You can homestead in an apartment.
Yeah.
Yep. Depends on what you're calling homestead. Homestead is a little bit different to everybody. You can purchase stuff from the farmers markets and can it at home versus buying stuff from the store. You can grow crops in a bucket in an apartment. Some, not all, but you can swap labor for a farm to get product from them. There's a lot of different things that can make up homesteading, and you may not have a big, huge property to do everything on right now, but start with some of the smaller stuff now. Like whatever parts of life that you're calling homesteading, if it is doing away with a lot of appliances, go ahead and do that now while you can. Because the longer you have those appliances and depend on them makes it harder to transition later.
And it's hard to do it in this life when everything
is
is convenient and you had to work all the time. You come in from work and it's a lot easier just to go in there and turn the stove on or turn the dishwasher or washing machine. I agree. It makes life a lot easier, but in a split second, we could go back to the Stone Age.
Mm-hmm.
And don't think there ain't some countries wanting to put us there.
Oh, yeah. And I'll be honest, we're homesteading, but do y'all know how much we eat out?
A lot.
Because there's so much work to do.
Yeah. We've got to really.
We end up not having time to cook.
Yeah. we got to really start putting emphasis on that.
It's just me and him. There are no kids helping. There is no other parts of the family helping. There is no support system or anything like
Right.
that a lot of homesteaders have. My daughter has zero interest in this. Zero. Mark's kids, one of them has an interest, but he's in Ohio. He's not here. So it's me and Mark trying to homestead and take care of stuff to be able to support possibly a community in a crap hits the fan situation.
All right, babe. We need to get off here.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, because I need to do another live on Facebook now.
oh Lord. All right,
That box of
everybody.
jewelry.
Y'all support everybody we try to support, and that's Spencer and Misty over at Woodwalkers, and Misty and her family over at Southern Appalachian Sasquatch Seekers on Facebook, Chris Reinhardt on Discover Sasquatch, Kyle on Encrypted Connections, Night Callers with Lauren, the Beast Group, and Mr. Barton Nunley, and the Hellbent Holler, and Deep South,
Deep South
Farmer
Homestead,
Pastures.
Farmer Pastures.
Holler Homestead. There's a lot
Oh,
more.
yeah, Holler Homestead.
I'd be on here an hour listening to everybody, but this is the ones I watch a lot and try to keep up with. I don't make every one of their lives, and
So Deep South, we like Deep South. They are good people.
oh yeah, well, they're all those kids.
Yeah, they're very good people, and we watch their porch time and their lives. Holler Homestead, one of the reasons we like them is they're still doing it from the beginning. They have not built up a big, huge homestead with lots of high tunnels and all this, that, and the other. He
takes his time
Mm-hmm.
when he gets money, or he'll take repurpose stuff
Mhm.
and use it. And he finally got him a tractor.
Yeah, I did see he finally had a tractor. But
Right.
every good homestead should have a tractor of some
if you can
sort,
afford one.
if you can afford it.
And I want to do one on tractors because I want to show you a tractor that you could afford.
But that's one of the main reasons we say follow Holler Homestead.
And Perma Pastures, he does a lot of stuff with
He does a lot of good stuff.
with little too. He doesn't have a big fancy place. I mean, he's got a nice house.
But he's also a permaculture type person, meaning he's working on the permanent structure of making sure that everything is good in the long run. Spencer needs to be watching Perma Pastures with his question of what do I need to plant to provide for stuff year round. That question of what do I need to plant to permanently take care of my field with plants.
Right.
That's a permaculture question. So check that out.
All right, we better get off here, and y'all give us a subscribe, like, share, comment, hit that notification button, and next Friday night.
No John Deere.
Oh, John Deere's fine.
We red tractor people.
Yeah, I love international.
We farm alls.
Farm All, Amos Chandler, Oliver.
Yeah.
Of course, I got all the tractors that don't be.
John
built.
said he's going to get you a John Deere shirt.
I've had some.
I
I got John Deere equipment. Best planter I got here is a 1903 one row walk behind John Deere.
Yep.
Without planting anything I've ever had.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you got to walk behind it. But we've put it behind a tractor a lot of times.
Yes.
I need to do a video on that one day.
Traded a Massey for a JD. Oh, I like my Massey.
Yeah, I like that little Massey first. Anyway, we love y'all. If you think of any questions next week, shoot them in the comments. I'll have another Creepy Mountain chat come out Wednesday. I don't know. I got some. I need to call Kenny, get down there and interview him.
I really need to get a homesteading video out. I've got several pieces of some. I just haven't had time to sit down and piece them together.
If you've had any sightings,
Including one on
encounters,
strawberries.
email us. I'll get back with you. Might take me a day or two, but I will get back. So, I hope everybody has a good weekend. Y'all be safe. Take care of each other. Love each other. Get along. And we'll see y'all next Friday night at 7:00. We'll back it up 1 hour.
Yeah. And we'll make a post.
And we may do it outside this time.
We'll see. Hopefully the weather's pretty.
I love y'all. Talk to you later. Bye bye.